How's it going, everyone? I'm Adam Molina. Here at SoundGuys, we try to take a look at as many notable brands as we could get our hands on. Just because we haven't reviewed it in the past doesn't mean that they're not on our radar. One of those brands has been Phiaton, or Phiaton, however you want to pronounce it. So when we got a chance to look at their BT 330NC on-ears, we knew we had to take a look. These aren't your typical on-ears. They're portable, they have noise canceling, and they claim high-quality audio as a feature. All those things together is a no-brainer. These are great headphones, right? The box is fairly simple with a picture of headphones on the front and not much else. Going inside, you'll get the headphones and a nice carrying pouch. In that pouch are even more accessories like the 3.5mm audio cable and the micro USB charging cable. Then you get the less fun but equally important warranty information and instruction manual. The headphones are almost completely made out of plastic, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. They're super lightweight, and even though the headband padding is also made of plastic, they feel strangely comfortable on top of my head and it doesn't feel bad at all. They also fold at the hinges, which is always good if you're a commuter like me. There's nothing easier than tossing headphones in a bag and not having to worry if they'll be in one piece when you pull them back out. The only real issue I have with the build quality is that they fit a little too snug. They cling to my head strong enough so that I don't have to worry about them slipping off while moving, but if they're not resting on my ears just right, then I end up having to take them off every hour or so just to let my ears breathe. Whether or not you like the buttons that are used depends on what kind of person you are. If you're the minimal type, then these might not be for you. That said, if you're a power user who prefers to leave your phone in your pocket and still have full control over playback, these will be right up your alley. The left ear cup has an on-off switch for the active noise cancelling, or ANC, while the right ear cup has the power button and sliding multifunction control switch. The Bluetooth connection on these were strong. How strong? Well, the only time that they actually skipped was when I was physically testing the range and walking further and further from the source device. As long as my phone was in my pocket, I had no issues whatsoever. On the right ear cup is the power button and a play/pause button, which also acts as a multifunction switch depending on how long you hold it down. A quick flick of the switch in either direction will raise or lower the volume, while holding it for at least 1 second will switch songs, and holding it for longer will fast forward and rewind. Phiaton says that the battery in the 330NCs will last you around 14 hours with active noise cancelling, and that was spot on. We got around the same at 14 hours of life in our testing. Without ANC, these should last you quite a bit longer, but let's be honest, who doesn't use ANC? As I said before, these do have active noise cancelling, and it's pretty good. They're made to take out sounds under 1000 Hz, which is pretty much any low humming by things like planes, trains, and cars. I haven't been able to take a plane recently, but I do take a train every day, and these worked perfectly. The voices around me remain, but the train completely disappeared. This is great if you still want to be aware of your surroundings but don't want to give up music. The low end is surprisingly good for a pair of on-ears. They're not as bass heavy as other headphones, but they do give a good amount of emphasis to the lows. That said, it's still a very clean and controlled bass. In Mood by Post Malone, the bass kicks hit extra hard without being distracting. Normally I'm a big fan of a laid-back bass, but these were just really fun to listen to. Over in the mid-range, the vocals were definitely given a slight push to sit over the top of the other elements in most songs, but they didn't take away from the quality of those same background instruments. A good example is in the song All the Time by Bahamas, where the gritty guitar loses a lot of its detail in other pairs of headphones, but it still crunched nicely in the 330s. If I'm nitpicking, the highs gave me the most issues. They weren't bad, but they weren't as crisp and clean as the mids and the lows. The solo in Howling at Nothing by Nathaniel Rateliff and the Night Sweats made me jump when I had them at full volume because it sounded pretty harsh. The brushes and hi-hats were also somewhat cut off, but again, that's just if I'm nitpicking. Overall, the sound was fine if you kept it 1 to 2 clicks lower than max volume. Overall, these are a great pair of on-ear headphones. The button placement is a little awkward, and they do have an extremely snug fit which sometimes hurts, but that might be worth dealing with for all the good they have to offer. Solid ANC, great sound quality, a strong Bluetooth connection, and they fold. These aren't exactly cheap, but for less than $200, I have no problem saying that they're completely worth it. If over-ears are a little too bulky for your daily travels, these are definitely a great option. We're giving the, bear with me here, Phiaton BT 330NC on-ear headphones an 8.7 out of 10. And that's it. That wraps up our review of the Phiaton BT 330NC on-ear headphones. Whew. If you want to know more details, check out the full written review over at SoundGuys.com. While you're here, give us a couple thumbs up and let us know we're doing a good job. Also, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already, and sign up for our monthly newsletter so you can stay up to date with all the newest reviews and audio news here at SoundGuys. Links to all of that down there in the description. I'm Adam Molina. I'll see you later.